Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance, and this is a Fifi La Pew Pew, the 105 leFH18B2 French Tier 5 Premium SPG, and we're on the west spawn of Arctic region, and it's under the command of Funfizzer. Now he's submitted some replays to us before, and they were pretty exciting ones, so I'm expecting good things from this replay. And we can see that Fifi is decked out in the French national colours because she's on the French national tree. But what's unusual about Fifi is she's actually the original one was a German design, not a French one. Wargaming put her on the French tree when they introduced the French national tech tree to the game some years ago. And they put Fifi in as the premium vehicle, but for a while it was the only premium vehicle because although there was a Sexton 1, that's rarely been on sale. Okay, now Funfizzer's got the whole battlefield to play with because Fifi has got a very long range and she's got a very long view range as well. And that M37 has sat himself right next door to Funfizzer in the same bush. Now that's very bad etiquette. You don't sort of like plonk yourself alongside somebody else's Arty after they've gone and set themselves up, because the two of you can get taken out very easily because you can see the tracer from both vehicles. It's much easier to see two tracers than it is one when they're coming out of the same bush, and so you're more likely to get struck. Okay, he's fired his first round in, missed. Next round goes in, it's also a miss because those are light tanks and they're moving about quite a lot. Okay, so he needs to settle the aim down, and he's got it settled down there, but the Striv pulls behind, but he splashes him there for 57. Now the Fifi has got a very small splash because it's got a 10.5cm howitzer gun, but that was a direct hit, 172 hit points, right on the money, and that Stuart is no more. And it looks like he got another hit, but he didn't actually. That tank, the Covenanter, went down to the 60 GFT. Now he's aiming for the Matilda. It's a very slow moving medium, but it's one of those few tanks which it's better for the Fifi to attack because the 10.5cm shells can absolutely wreck a Matilda, whereas other tank shells tend to bounce off them. Okay, Striv M42, it's the same one he hit earlier. He's dialing in the aim. It just takes a little while for Fifi to dial in her aim, but once she does, she can be incredibly accurate. Oh, we can see those other rounds coming in from the M37 alongside him. And that round there splashes the Striv 42, and he picks up 60 hit points there. Fires another round in, same spot, and he gets him this time. Or does he? No, the M37 stole the kill. But he does get a hit on the Matilda for 111. Now, the other thing that's good about the Fifi is the view range. It's got a huge view range, 390 meters, similar to that of a heavy tank, but it's actually because the gun is mounted so high on the chassis. Now, he's aiming at that T82 HMC, the enemy Arty, and unfortunately you can see the rounds landing nearby, but unfortunately that one missed. But he's going for the Matilda up on that prominence, and he gets a massive direct hit on the engine bay of the Matilda, 171. I suspect he's moved now. Yep, there's an explosion now this time instead of it actually hitting the tank. Now he's fired around in where he thinks the enemy was. No, there's an explosion instead. If he had hit the target, there wouldn't have been any explosion. Hitting a blind target means the shell just disappears. Right, now they're down by 3 tanks at the moment. They've got a Matilda in the South Pass, and Funfizzer is dialing in. He's also specifying that as his target. Rounds out. And he gets a good hit. 131 hit points, 1 critical hit. But unfortunately, we've lost sight of the Matilda. And that round's wasted. He's only got 12 rounds of standard ammo left, 10 rounds of heat ammunition. Now the heat ammunition requires a direct hit to be effective, so you can't sort of like get a near miss and get some splash. It actually has to hit the target to make an effect. but it can be pretty deadly if it does hit the target. Now personally I tend not to carry that too much of heat, only a couple of rounds for close encounters. I tend to carry a lot of HE because the HE is much more effective. Okay, round out on the Matilda. No, that was wasted. It was a very difficult angle, and he's firing over the top of that rock, so it makes it very, very difficult. Yeah, he's fired in another round, and it was wasted because the Matilda hadn't moved. And again, they're 4 tanks behind. They're 3 tanks behind now. The Matilda was taken out by the 60 GFT. Okay, there's a T28. Now he's making a dash down to kill that TD, and he does. There's a Sturmpanzer at close range. Now what he's doing down there, I do not know. But the T28 is killed by the Matilda that's down there. But the Sturmpanzer is killed by the Bishop. Now the enemy Bishop has to be fairly close. So I suspect he's in this area where Funfizzer is looking right now. And we'll probably see the Tracer if we look hard enough. Because I'm sure that that Bishop will try to fire again at the Matilda as he comes up the pass. And he is coming up the pass. Now he's indicating firing at the same position where the T-82 was, but a Stug 3G has appeared near his cap. Round out. Oh no, that was just a little behind. Now would be the time to be on the heat round, but unfortunately he's still on the HE, but he does take it out. 129 hit points. He received a hit for 143 from the Stug, and he's moving because he doesn't want to get a counter battery. There is an enemy tank on the, well, 2 enemy tanks on the enemy team that could hit him all the way over there. A Panzerseps 4B and a T-82 HMC. They could both strike that range. But he's pulled away to ensure that he can't be attacked by those 2. And he's only got 6 rounds of standard HE left. So now's the time, I think, with only 2 RT and 2 mediums. Now would be the time to go walkies, and there's a DW2 coming up. Now load that heat, reload the heat, because a direct hit with the heat will totally wreck that DW2. Round out. When he gets a splash hit for 27, and the DW2's turning, it's coming down this path. Round out. Direct hit this time, 128 hit points, 2 critical hits. He's still not loaded the heat ammo. And that time he gets a kill shot. 80 hit points. Now, M7 down at the other end. If ever there was a time for heat ammo, now it's the time. Because he's a stationary target. You can easily hit him. And he's still stationary. Round out. And that's a kill shot. 223. Well, if he had fired heat, he wouldn't have wasted the ammo, because he would have got a direct hit for sure, because they were stationary targets. But now he's facing 5 enemy tanks, and there's only 3 on his team. 1 medium, which is a SAL 42, and he's got that M37 for company, who's actually got 2 kills. So he was quite a good player, even if he was placing himself in the wrong bush at the start of a battle, which is bad etiquette. Now, unfortunately, Funfizzer's only got 1 round of HE left. So this is going to be difficult, because it means that after that he's got to use the heat ammo. And he's got 10 rounds, but he has to get direct hits on the target to make it work. Now the SAR's up on the prominence. They're doing his lookout, but we can see the SAU-40 before he sees us, because we've got a very good view range, and that's a direct hit. 60 hit points, takes the SAU-40 out. Now he never knew or never saw us until we fired, because he's got a very poor view range. But Fifi's got a very good view range. That was a direct hit. Or at least he got a critical hit on him. Took his track. Dialed in. Rounds out. And that was a heat round. And it took him out the game. But he didn't get the kill. The SAL did. Right. More rounds coming in from the enemy Arty. Now, as we know, the enemy Arty consists of a Bishop who's got 3 kills, but very short range. A Panzerseps 4B who's got 2 kills, And he's got a long range, long reach, but he's fairly slow. Based on a Panzer III 4 chassis. It's got a 10.5 centimeter howitzer, same as this Arty. Exactly the same, actually. And the T82 HMC has got a 105 millimeter howitzer. But he's based on a Stuart chassis, so he's a lot faster. There's the Bishop. Very accurate Arty. I don't know if the Bishop's seen him. I don't think he has. He might have seen the M37, but that round went in and just left the Bishop on 8 hit points. Now that round was wasted, but he's still got 6 rounds of heat left. The trouble is, the Bishop, when you get close to him, he's very deadly. Very deadly. It's got a 4.5 inch howitzer. Very fast reload, almost as fast as the Fifi, but incredibly accurate. If he can see the target, he can land the round on the engine deck of a target if he's got the time. If he hasn't, and if he's shotgunning, he is also an incredibly effective Arty. Now the Saar's coming down to try and finish off that Bishop. He's got the hit points to take a hit from the Bishop. He could survive the first shot, but there's the Panzerseebsplitter. And they fire the rounds in and they miss. So he's going for the Panzerseebsplitter, dialing in. And he shotguns him and takes him out 97 hit points. So it's just the Bishop left. And he fires and misses. Oh, it's actually the T-82's there. And there's the T-82 a long way off. The Bishop gets a shotgun into the Fifi. But unfortunately, he's going for the ram kill, the M37. He does. He ram kills the Bishop. And they managed to take out, the Saar manages to take out the T-82 HMC at distance. Oh dear, that was a pretty hectic end. Let's have a look at the figures for that one. And it's an ace tanker for Funfizzer in the 105 leFH18B2, the leFH, as many people call it, as the Fifi, Le Pew Pew, that we call it. He also picked up a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, crew incapacitations or module damage, and he got 15 in that battle. He managed to pick up 3 off the DW2. He also got a Stark's medal because he received at least 2 hits from the enemy, lost 2/3 of his hit points in the process, and survived to win the battle. And he picked up a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills. He got 7, and he picked up a High Calibre as well. Hey, excuse me, I just had to cough. We look at the team scores. We can see that Funfizzer managed to get the highest amount of damage, 1,934 hit points. He got the highest number of kills with 7, and he got the highest base XP with 986. And that's surprising considering this is an ace tanker game. And if we look at the detail report, he fired 38 rounds, got 14 direct hits, 13 penetration and 4 splash damage. He did damage of 1,934 hit points, of which 1,366 were at more than 300 meters. Obviously the Stug and the Arty were a lot closer when he took them out, as well as the DW2 and several of the other tanks that he engaged at close range. He received 2 hits, 2 penetrations. One of those was from the Stug. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle. He damaged 11 of the enemy, but killed 7 of them. He also did damage assistance of 124 hit points. On a premium account, he earned 46,409 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply, he had 17,511 credits left over. I think the reason that's so high is because he did use a lot of heat, and heat is expensive. That's why I always think it's better to carry HE. He received 1,479 experience points, but because Fifi is a premium vehicle, he also got 592, and that brings his total to 2,071 experience points in total. So very good battle, very exciting at the end, especially when they were down at one point by several tanks, and the odds were against them, but they still managed to pull it off. So I think it all comes down to the end, to the players and the tanks that they are playing, and they certainly did equip themselves very well in that battle. If you enjoyed this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully it'll be your replay I'll be featuring in the next video.